What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the Square Gamers Podcast, where some dudes get around and talk some caca, some shit about video games. I'm Mike, and we got Pedro today. Now, Pedro, what you got going on this week?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling this week. Tried to get in some Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Red boxed it because they had it available, and then completely forgot I red boxed it. So I kind of paid for a few days of rental fees, and decided to go do other things instead of playing video games. Trying to be a little bit more social, man. A social gamer is a good gamer.
By the way, how come you didn't fucking tell me you got Infinite Warfare, bro? I would have got that shit on Redbox too.
Nah, they had it on for Xbox and not for PlayStation.
Oh, get sad, get sad. Well,
yeah, that reminds me too. It's that time of year now where I got to renew both PSN and Xbox Live. Ugh.
What is that? $80 for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the only stupid ass that pays for PlayStation Network monthly.
I might be doing that for a little while.
Oh shit. Okay, guys, let's jump right into it. Not much going on this week, but the first thing we want to talk about is actually extremely prevalent going on right now. Zelda Breath of the Wild is getting DLC and an expansion pass, or a season pass if you want to call it. Now, the expansion pass is going to be $20. It's supposed to have 2 DLC packs. One that has a hard mode and some new trials. They mentioned Twilight Princess style trials. So I never played Twilight Princess. So to what I'm hearing, that's actually really cool. And as well, they're giving you some stupid stuff like a Switch t-shirt. Like, come on, guys. Who the fuck's going to wear a Switch t-shirt on Zelda? He looks so much better in his blue tunic, guys. Like, what the hell? What the hell? Pedro, what do you think about this, Pedro? Are you... Because as far as, like, season passes, I think the only season pass that we actually end up spending money on as a group of friends was the first-person shooter ones, like Call of Duty and Battlefield. And, like, I remember when the last Battlefield 4 came out, I went out and got the Battlefield pack that was actually, at the point in time, wasn't a bad deal, but as the game progressed, the game got bad. Like, servers were bad. Gun lag was seriously, like, destroying the game. So then the season pass no longer became valid because it was a waste of money. How do you feel about this? Being, you're buying a Switch solely on Zelda. Are you down for this? Are you okay with this? Does this bother you, or is this to you? Hey, that's another 10 hours of gameplay for me.
It's the nature of the beast. This is what the games industry has become, man. I mean, this is just a publisher trying to squeeze as much out of a game that they can. And I mean, I don't really fault them for it. I think that this is something showing that Nintendo is, with the current generation, and with current generation, we expect these season pass and this downloadable content in this fashion. A lot of people are up in arms regarding the hard mode and the Cave of Trials. It's coming out in the first part of the DLC. I'm not going to condemn them for the hard mode just yet. They didn't say it would be a harder difficulty. They just said hard mode. You don't know what that means. To me, it could be a different game mode. It's like, coming out with like the Division coming out with like a survival mode, which is a different way to play the game. And of course the difficulty will be more challenging. But I don't think that this is that you're paying for a hard difficulty.
Like
that isn't what this sounds to me.
I want to bring up a quick point, White, since you mentioned that. Now the actual hard mode, like you said, it doesn't tell us anything. But what I'm hoping to see is because to what I've been seeing in the trailers and what Nintendo's been releasing about Breath of the Wild is Zelda's going to be able to cook. He's going to be able to do all this crazy shit like you've seen him harvesting trees for his diet. Remember the old Deku sticks in the old Zelda where you had to use it to light your way through a dark cave?
Yeah.
I'm hoping this hard mode is something like you just said about a survival mode. Maybe yeah, the game gets harder. You take more damage. You do less damage. But then you also have to worry about survival. You have to worry about feeding Zelda or feeding Link. You have to freaking maintain his equipment. That's what I'm hoping this is going to be, because that would take an already challenging game and making it harder, which in my eyes adds another 20 to 30 hours of gameplay, because that's a whole nother game mechanic you have to learn, and that just adds more replayability to the game, which is totally cool. But I'm gonna break it all down for them really quick, Pedro. Okay, the expansion pass bonus comes out on release date of Breath of the Wild on the 3rd. You get 3 treasure chests. You contain items and in-game exclusive clothing, which is this Switch T-shirt that they've been talking about, which is bogus. And then summer of 2017, you have the one we're talking about, DLC Pack 1, which is your Cave of Trials challenge, like Twilight Princess, new hard mode, and additional map feature. Now, the additional map feature, I'm not too sure. Maybe it's another zone. You want to speculate on that, Pedro? Like, 'cause Zelda hasn't been known for releasing new zones in their games. They've had actual new storylines, arcs added to the game, but never actually just a zone. This is another thing that we have to kind of take with a grain of salt until we know the actual additional map feature. You agree with me on that, or is that another one of those?
Anyway, yeah, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. We just got to give it, an opportunity for the developer to explain what exactly you're getting. This isn't as egregious as other DLC season passes we've seen. So,
It also makes me wonder with them setting a future release date, summer 2017, and then the last DLC Pack 2, which comes with a new original story, a dungeon, additional challenges coming out in winter 2017. Is it me, or do I get a feel like this may not be on disc? You understand what I'm saying?
Well, this is definitely not going to be. This is definitely not going to be on this.
Yeah, because that means,
for sure.
I mean, because the way I think people are seeing this is this isn't Capcom, guys. This isn't DLC on disc. This isn't Resident Evil 7 where a week after the game launches, there's DLC already out. Which at the end of the day, you and I both know that shit was fucking on the disc, and they withheld it to guarantee an extra $10 from every one of the people who bought the game.
That was that like I'm saying, that's not
yeah, exactly
what Nintendo's doing. I mean, Nintendo's just getting with the times and doing what everybody else is with but this doesn't seem like it's an on this type of situation here. Although it may seem that way with the hard mode shit, but it's definitely not.
And I mean, for what we're trying to say, guys, is don't be so easily angered or so frustrated with this, because I mean, at the end of the day, with all these shops, GameStop, Bavages, and all those other game sellers, game publishers and developers are kind of losing money, considering that 2 weeks down the road they're not selling it. They make all their money in the first 3 weeks of the game's launch. So after the third week, you guys gotta think people are buying shit used because it's an extra, it's $10 less or $5 less. And if you have a GameStop card, it's an extra 10% off of a used game. So I mean, people are buying basically a brand new game for $45. That's $15, and to the average person, $15 is still $15 is $5 more. I get the DLC pack. You know what I'm saying? So they have to do this in order to secure some money. We're not talking about Capcom's way of doing things where the DLC is already on disc. We're not talking about that. That's a whole nother podcast. But as I see it now, this is just a way of Nintendo going, look, guys, we plan on supporting this game. So yeah, the Nintendo Switch lineup isn't as strong as we liked. You are going to be able to play Zelda for the first year the console's out, and you're going to be able to enjoy it, and we're going to support it. So you guys don't need to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? That's another way I like look at it. Do you agree with me there, Pedro? Where it's kind of like Nintendo going, look, guys, we're going to support Zelda. You've been waiting it for fucking forever. Here goes a great game with some extra content we plan on putting out.
Yep.
Agreed.
I mean, that's essentially what any season pass is. I think Zelda. I think Nintendo's doing a better job of letting you know what's in the season pass than other publishers are though.
No, I mean,
So
it's just like For Honor, which we actually got a review in progress, guys. Look forward to that on our Facebook group for the quick review. We'll break it down in a couple minutes, and then our full in-depth review will be on YouTube probably within the next week and a half. But For Honor, for instance, has a season pass, which is completely fucking mind-boggling. There's like 5 or 6 different items that are actually on the season pass, and only 2 of them are worth it, and one of them feels a little unfair, where you're allowing people who own the season pass to get 7-day access or 7-day early access to the champions or to the heroes in the game, which is kind of cool, but it's also kind of like, okay, guys, like really, I got to spend $40 to get this guy when you release him? Is that what you're telling me? So that's kind of bullshit and bad business practice, which leads me to my next topic. Bad business practices, guys. GameStop has been known for this shit for the last 10 years, I want to say. And apparently it's getting worse, and people are talking about it. We have people actually complaining to customer affairs. We have employees complaining to them, saying that they're firing and writing people up for not selling used games, not pushing their power up rewards card, pushing their peripherals, their used consoles, their used games. They're more willing to sell you a used copy of the game than a brand new copy. And at the end of the day, it's business. Do you agree with me there, Pedro? Like, it's GameStop's in business to make money, not to, lose money. You see what I'm saying? Because if you look at the markup, they're only making anywhere from $15 to $10 per game, per new game they sell. As per se, if they're selling a used game, they're making anywhere from $30 to $40 depending on the actual game and how new the game is and the price of the game. Do you think, we should turn a blind eye? Because, I don't. But at the end of the day, business is business. Do you agree, or what is your ideas on this?
I mean, being an ex-retail worker, I can tell you that this is no different than working at any other retail store, such as a Best Buy or anything like that. For example, working at Best Buy, some of the things that you would have to do is you would have to, try to sell a replacement plan on a video game disc, a $2.99. Hey, if your disc ever breaks, warps, has scratches, you can bring it in. We'll get your replacement for $3. Of course, with the move to use games, you're gonna get a much bigger margin because, of course, people are gonna trade in a used game for $35, and you're gonna sell it for $30 over whatever you're buying it for. So obviously that's where the hustle's coming in. To me, again, this is just to someone who's a retail worker, but none of this surprises me. Is it anti-consumer? Absolutely, it's anti-consumer. Is it anti-employee in many cases? Because some of those guys are just video game enthusiasts who love to be around video games, love to talk to people who like video games on a daily basis, and just kind of want to hang out and give people what they want. And GameStop is making it difficult for those types of guys because they're, it is a business, and they're putting, the numbers that they got to hit with the quotas for used games as opposed to new games. Then you have the peripherals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't see the shock. I don't see a need for the shock. I don't see a need for the surprise. This is just something that GameStop has to do in order to survive. Um, because as the industry goes to a more digital
Marketplace.
landscape, you're just, I mean, these brick and mortar stores, they're gonna go away. What are they gonna do at that point? You're just gonna have to rely on their website, and then you can possibly purchase a digital copy of a video game there, and then put the code into your console. But even then, those slim margins that you're talking about before, the $10 to $15, which I heard it was much lower than that. We're talking like $5 to $10 as opposed to 10 to 15 in some cases.
Oh.
But that's all they're going to be making, because there will be no way for you to resell a code or anything like that.
So what is your take on that? Because I now guys, I am different than a lot of gamers, but I do a lot of PC gaming as well. Well, I used to, not as much anymore. So when Xbox One was first announced, and they talked about the online DRM, where you was online and all that shit. Now, as a PC user, I used to play a lot of games on the PC, and you downloaded them. You never went to a GameStop. You never went to for some reason, I just popped up Funko Land, bro. Funko Land was fucking my game store when I was growing up. You don't go to those places to buy PC games. You would download them off of Steam or off of Blizzard or off of Blizzard's website and or their actual UI now they have, and be done with it. And once you have a game, it's done. You can't trade it in. It's always there. You always have it in your library. You always have it to your accounts you have across to. So, I'm one of those gamers that are all for digital, for the same reason that not only do I have it forever, but it's instantaneous, and hopefully eventually, when it does go to full, online store, or not full, but it's not. I don't think actual game retailers or hard copies of games are going to completely disappear. But when it becomes easier to download games on the console, that is the way to way to buy them. And as these console, PlayStation and Xbox, start revolutionizing their tech they have now, and hard drive space comes down in price, where you can get a 2 terabyte hard drive for a decent price. Because that's the only thing I can see having a problem with the downloadable marketplace. Do you agree with me, Pedro? Because I mean, if you look at it now, for you for sure, you buy a lot of your games off of download. You download your games down directly from PSN or Xbox Live, right?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, there have been games that I have regretted purchasing digitally, just because I'm like, damn, they could be, good for trade-in value. But other than that, I try to go as digital as possible.
So, I mean, with GameStop doing everything they can to pull in all the money they can, when they actually, the game developers and publishers and console creators, Xbox and PlayStation, decide to make another push towards downloadable games or game marketplace online, what do you think GameStop? What do you think these places are going to have to do? I mean, because the big name companies can't cut them out either, for the simple reason that who's going to sell their consoles? You mean Amazon? I know it's huge, and a lot of people buy their shit off of Amazon now. We got a bunch of guys in the group that actually pre-order all their games off of Amazon, and they get a 10% discount when you're an Amazon Prime member, and you get it on release day, sometimes early morning, sometimes afternoon. There's ways to buy games. What are these brick and mortar places gonna have to do to stay in business? You understand what I'm saying? Like, and with them disappearing, that's not a good thing either, because there's no, you cut off the middleman, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what are these guys going to do, Pedro? What do they have to do?
I mean, Best Buy already sells other electronics. They don't have to sell a video game console. So for Best Buy to go out of business, they'd have to have something catastrophic happen to them for them to go the way of a Radio Shack or a Circuit City. GameStop is also selling additional things like your like your iPads, tablets, etc., etc. They do have GameStop stores of the future that have those different items. They are going into the digital landscape. They do publish video games now too digitally. So I mean, they're dabbling. They're figuring it out. They see the writing on the wall. I don't think that they're gonna go anywhere anytime soon. They still have arguably the best publication for video games that anybody could read out right now in Game Informer. They still have avenues of where to generate income, because when in doubt, Game Informer could just turn into a YouTube channel and they could be an instant IGN, GameSpot kind of funny competitor, and they could just make money off of the views based off of that. So there's different options, there's different avenues. I don't see GameStop going away for a long time. They're still going to be a staple within the gaming community.
Well, I mean,
love them or hate them.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of people that dislike him, and there's a lot of people who are middle ground like myself, where I still pre-order some games. I actually, when Resident Evil 7 came out, I went to go cop it, and I normally don't pre-order games unless it's huge, like unless I know it's gonna be hard to find. Resident Evil, I went and go get it, and they didn't have it. 3 of the GameStops in my area didn't have it. I ended up having to buy my game at Walmart, which is shocking, but also brings us to the point where they're turning away people that want new games and telling them no, we don't have it, kind of thing, which is kind of interesting. Now, before we close this out, Pedro, with this whole digital market, how long are you thinking it's going to actually start being pushed again? For the simple reason that publishers and developers are losing money. How long do you think we have?
Another year or so, maybe another year or two, before it goes all digital, and you start seeing publishers say, you know what, forget this stuff, it's for the birds. We're gonna go ahead and do this. But consoles need to come out with more than 1 terabyte of hard drive space if they're going to do that. So right now, I think it's really on the hardware manufacturers to kind of come out with enough memory for us to have a completely digital future, or do what Microsoft has already done and go with the ability to put in an external hard drive. With PlayStation or with PSN 4.5, you'll be able to do the same with the PlayStation. So, given that extra option to just kind of plug in an extra hard drive via USB, that definitely opens the door for a digital future.
Which you just mentioned expandable hard drive. Right now you can get a Seagate at Walmart for $99 for a 2 terabyte hard drive, which at the end of the day, $100, that's not a bad price considering you can buy them online at other places like Newegg and Jet and eBay, from anywhere from, I'm seeing on eBay for $40 to $60 at Server Supply and Newegg, which is a comparable price. $50 for 2 terabytes. That's a whole lot of space, Pedro. I mean, granted, the new consoles are 2 terabyte to begin with. The new Xbox One S and the PS4 Pro. My PS4 Slim has a 500 gig hard drive, so I'm gonna need to upgrade soon. To be quite honest with you, know what I mean? So I mean, the options are there. I will be starting to buy more digitally games. I'm just gonna be a little more picky because I have so many games on my hard drive, or so many games on my account right now, that I bought digitally. I have 5 games, and only one of them I play, and that's Destiny. And it's sad because Destiny's been out since fucking the console release, and that's the only game I play. I have I have Bloodborne on there. I have Overwatch on there. I have Minecraft on there. I have Street Fighter on there. So I mean, there's all these games that I'm buying digitally, and they're just sitting there now. So I had to be a little more cautious on what games I buy online. And so do you, Pedro. So do you, bro. So do you. But guys, before we head out, we want to let you guys know. Make sure you guys go to our YouTube channel. We have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard review. Me and Pedro dig deep into Resident Evil 7, which I'm extremely surprised on how good the game actually was. I was expecting Capcom to fall short, but they didn't. So make sure you go check out that review. We have the For Honor review coming up soon. I got the game on release day, and I've been enjoying the hell out of it. It is one of those games, if you like that genre, you're going to buy it. If not, it's not your game. Don't go buy a game. Don't go buy it. So make sure you check out the review in there. Make sure you go to our Facebook group, guys. We talk to all the group members there. We have a good time. We talk about topics like the Zelda, where we got people going on saying how no, Nintendo shouldn't do that, and some people are saying it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's gonna happen anyway. It's the way everything's going. And make sure you go to on iTunes and Google Play or however you listen to us. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. That helps us. We want to get up there. We want more listeners, and we need your help to do that. Pedro, you got anything you want to plug in, my man?
No, you did all the hard work for me.
Oh, good shit, bro. Well, guys, you guys heard it here, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.